It's hump day and we cannot wait for this cold snap to be over. You are taking a live look right now from our Savannah cam over Tybee Island. Storm Team 3 meteorologist Alyssa Carsley is inside the Weather Center this morning because, of course, she is. With a look at our forecast first. Good morning, Alyssa.
Hey, good morning, Kim. Yeah, who really wants to be outside right now? Temperatures still cold, still chilly. Back into the 40s, but at least we're around 10 degrees warmer, or at least higher than where we were yesterday at this time, sitting at 43 degrees in Savannah and 46 degrees currently in Metter. As we head throughout the rest of our Wednesday, we'll see a mixture of sunshine and clouds and temperatures not nearly as cold as yesterday, still below average though, and still pretty chilly back into the 50s. And we'll stay in the 50s for the rest of the work week for those high temperatures. Seeing that high today right around 53 degrees, though there will be a few spots farther inland that brush the upper 40s, like 49 degrees in Sylvania and 52 degrees for that temperature in Beaufort. Now, as we head into the next couple of days, we're still tracking that bitter cold air with another blast of cold Arctic air moving in as we head into the weekend, where we could see temperatures fall into the teens on Sunday, and of course those single-digit wind chill temperatures as well. Now, of course, we're also looking at the possibility of wintry precipitation moving in, and we're looking at that chance of precipitation continuing throughout the day on Saturday that has to line up perfectly with that bitter cold air. So coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk about what you can expect as we head into our weekend.
Thank you, Alyssa. Topping our news this morning, South Carolina authorities have arrested a healthcare worker for allegedly abusing a resident at a senior living facility in Bluffton. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson says his office's Vulnerable Adults and Medicaid Provider Fraud Unit arrested 49-year-old Latoya Fennell of Early Branch. Wilson's office is charging Fennell with 1 count of abuse of a vulnerable adult and 1 count of assault and battery in the 3rd degree. According to jail records, she was booked into the Beaufort County Detention Center last Thursday, January 22nd, and released the following day. We're told a joint investigation by the AG's office and the Bluffton Police Department showed the incident happened last October when Fennell, a certified nurse aide employed at the Addison of Bluffton, physically abused a resident by slapping the victim in the face. Leadership staff with the Addison of Bluffton tell us they promptly reported the incident to law enforcement and are fully cooperating in the investigation. Also from the Lowcountry this morning, a budget meeting leads to an ultimatum from the 14th Circuit Public Defender's Office to Hampton County. Pay us the money you owe us.
Either Hampton County pays me the $178,000 that they owe me from the last 3 fiscal years, or I'll just sue Hampton County. And my plan is to look for any attorneys that have already sued Hampton County and have been successful. Because our clients, the people who are charged with crimes in Hampton County, do not deserve this.
That was 14th Circuit's Public Defender Stephanie Smart Giddings addressing the Hampton County Council during budget discussions. Giddings says her office has been helping defend clients for 3 years in Hampton County without one payment. She's not just threatening a lawsuit. Giddings says she's finding out from the staff if she can stop defending clients in Hampton County altogether. The council did not respond to Giddings' comments. On now to continuing coverage this morning. While the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is still reviewing last week's officer-involved shooting that happened along River Street, Savannah Mayor Van Johnson is now also weighing in. WSAV's Nakiah Harris shares his message to our community.
Sorry that your loved one had to lose his life.
Savannah Mayor Van Johnson on Tuesday addressing the officer-involved shooting that left 27-year-old Mark Dennis Wibby Jr. dead last Thursday.
For us, this is always a very, very difficult time when our law enforcement officers feel that they have to exert deadly force, which is the highest use of force.
Records obtained by WSAV show Wibby had recent jail stays and was listed as homeless, released 1 day before the shooting.
I can't speculate. I'll wait on the GBI to investigate, but that's the bane of my existence. I mean, how do you get freaking guns?
The situation has also highlighted broader concerns about how armed crises are handled.
All of our officers have some level of training of mental health. We recognize that there is a deficit of mental health that is state provided. I think the challenge for us is that it's a little different when an individual has a gun.
Johnson also urged the public to avoid drawing conclusions based on clips circulating online.
Fortunately for us at the City of Savannah, our officers have body-worn cameras, so we have at least 5 to 6 different first-hand views, not only of what was seen, but what was said.
And to business owners and visitors who witnessed the incident, Johnson offered reassurance
that no one was hurt as this individual was engaged and involved, but no, the police acted quickly.
Nakaya Harris, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Mayor Johnson says he's spoken with the officers involved and will stand by them if the GBI determines their use of force was justified. However, he says any officer found to be at fault will be held accountable. Happening today, family, friends, and supporters of the victim of a deadly crash in Savannah last year are coming together to help bring about change. This is a live look under the Gold Dome in Atlanta, where in just a little while, the Darren Lewis Saving Lives Act is expected to be formally introduced to the state legislature. The bill is being proposed by Representative Carl Gilliard following the tragic death of Lewis back in March of last year during a high-speed police chase. Supporters of the Darren Lewis Foundation, including his wife Kathy, are expected to attend today's event. WSAV's Nakaya Harris is covering for us and will have a full recap beginning this afternoon on First News at 4. Making headlines this morning, the investigation into ICE operations in Minnesota continues. 2 federal officers fired their weapons during the deadly shooting in Minneapolis over the weekend. That's according to a Department of Homeland Security notice to Congress. Our Washington correspondent breaks down the latest developments from Capitol Hill.
Tensions over ICE action in Minnesota continue rising. 2 Senate Republicans are now joining Democrats in calling for Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem to resign.
Donald Trump must fire her at once before another American is killed under her watch.
The president's been standing by Noem. When asked if he believes the shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by immigration officers was justified, he says he's waiting for the full results of the investigation.
Very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's very unfortunate.
A preliminary report shared with Congress says 2 federal officers fired their weapons. With the Senate back in session, both parties agree on the need for an investigation, but not much else.
The Senate must not pass the DHS budget as currently written and must be reworked to rein in and overhaul ICE.
I urge my Democrat colleagues to continue their engagement and find a path forward that will avoid a needless shutdown and not jeopardize full funding for key agencies like FEMA.
The government has until Friday at midnight to get on the same page, or there will be a partial shutdown over the funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Meanwhile, despite mounting calls for her resignation, Secretary Kristi Noem has agreed to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee in March.